Hey guys, and welcome back to 3F Fishing. Today we're talking about the Shimano Expride rods, and especially the 6'10" medium and the 7'2" medium heavy. Let's go. The 6'10" medium is one of my absolute favorite rods. I bought this rod last year and I fished it so much. And the reason I love this rod is because I love jerkbait fishing. It was something that I started doing a couple of years ago, and I really fell in love with it. And since I fell in love with it, I really wanted to get the perfect combo for my jerkbait fishing. So where I'm fishing, I have some salt water, and I also have some fresh water, so I wanted a reel to be able to withstand both kinds of waters. And I also wanted a rod that was the perfect rod for my jerkbait fishing, and I really wanted the action to really drive those jerkbaits in the most perfect way. So doing my research, I seemed to come by over and over again the Shimano's Expride rod, the 6'10" medium power rod, and it's just a great rod. It's so lightweight, it's got an amazing sensitivity, design is great, love this monocoque handle, love the cork here, and all the components are just great. And the 6'10" medium, I've combined it with a Shimano Metanium, and this is the XG version. And the reason why I wanted a Shimano Metanium was because an old Baron will probably break down in my saltwater fishing here. So I wanted something that's a little bit more durable, but at the same time super lightweight and can cast a mile. So the Shimano Metanium was my choice, and the XG version because I really wanted to retrieve that slack line fast when you're doing a lot of jerkbait fishing. So here's my combination then, the Shimano Expride with the Shimano Metanium XG version. Another use case for my 6'10" medium Shimano Expride rod is actually light jig fishing. When it comes to lures that around 5 grams up to say 20 grams something, this rod is a perfect rod for that as well. The action in this rod is very fast. The fast tip helps to drive those jigs, and it really helps when you're setting that hook. I like rods that are faster in general, but I also want a rod that has slightly bend in the middle, so not too heavy in the middle section, because driving those jerkbaits and also those jigs, you need a faster tip, but you want a little bit slower midsection like this. And the reason being, if you would have a really stiff or a really fast rod when doing your jerkbait fishing, you will probably use too much force. It's super easy to use too much force on those jerkbaits, so you will hit them a little bit too hard, and you will see that action just goes nuts, and it will do some curls and it will tangle up, and you will have to do another cast. But this rod has the perfect action for the jerkbait in terms of flexibility in the tip section, but also the middle section. But like I said, also for jigs, this fast tip is key for me. And I really don't want to have a too slow of a tip or too much bend in the tip when I'm doing my light jig fishing, because I really want to be able to lift the jig off the bottom when I'm fishing. And in general, if you have a faster tip, your sensitivity will go up. If you have a slower tip, your sensitivity will generally go down. And that's why I also want a little bit of a stiffer rod when it comes to my light jig fishing. So the Shimano Expride is perfect for that type of fishing, the jerkbait fishing, also the light jig fishing. Now the 7'2" medium heavy, or 10 to 30 grams, I think it is, 10 to 30 grams, is a little bit more heavy duty rod. It's still got a fast tip and it's got a little bit of a stronger midsection. And I love this rod when using a bit of a heavier jigs or heavier swim baits. So swim baits up to, when I have jig heads up to 25-30 grams and also a trailer, then this rod is the perfect rod for that type of fishing. And also when it comes to chatterbaits, I think. Some people want a rod that has a bit more bend in the midsection for the chatterbait fishing, but these rods are pretty good. And I like that a little bit more heavy duty type of rods when you're doing your the chatterbait fishing. And the reason is that the chatterbait get caught in grass, and you want a rod that you can really pull that lure out of that grass without having to have too much bend either in the midsection or in the top section, because you need some power driving out those baits out of the grass. And it's when you drive the bait out of the grass where you have the most of your strikes when it comes to the chatterbait fishing actually. So the 7'2", a little bit more heavier rod, and especially when it comes to the perch fishing that I'm doing and not bass fishing. So when it comes to light jigs, you might not want to use this rod. And when it comes to your finesse fishing, you definitely don't want to use this rod. But definitely when it comes to a little bit more heavier jig fishing. So say you're using 20 gram lures, 20 gram jig heads, 25-30 gram jig heads, then this is the rod to use for that type of fishing. So what then are the main differences between the two rods? Well, obviously you have power, that's one of the main difference. A 7'2" medium heavy rod is a heavier rod, but there are some similarities. It is when it comes to those baits where you're throwing 15 grams to 20 grams in total. That's really have a lot of similarities. But once you go onto the upper end of say 20 gram heads, 30 gram heads, then you definitely want that 7'2" medium heavy rod. But then again, if you go down and you're using 5 to 10 gram heads and also a swim bait together with that, then the 6'10" medium is the perfect rod for that type of fishing. And when it comes to the jerkbait fishing, if you're trying to figure out what rod to use for your jerkbait fishing, like I said, I think the 6'10" medium is the way to go. The 7'2" could work for you, but I think it's a little bit too heavy rod for that type of fishing. And also, I think that it's a little bit too long. And that's why I like the 6'10" medium rod for my jerkbait fishing as well, because it's a little bit shorter. If you're standing fishing from land or fishing from boat, you don't want to slap that water all the time when you're casting your lure and working that bait. So I really recommend the 6'10" medium rod for your jerkbait fishing. But like I said, heavier jigs, heavier chatterbaits, then the 7'2" medium heavy is the way to go. So this is my quick review and quick comparison between the 7'2" rod and the 6'10" rod. And these rods, they are just great. Sensitivity is just there. Lightweight rods, design, monocoque handle, durability, just great rods. It's a lot of bang for your buck. So I really want to recommend these rods for you. If you're doing jerkbait fishing, you need to get this rod. And I've also used the Zodia's rod, the 6'10" medium, and it's just another level. And I have actually also used the Curado rod and also the SLX rods. But this rod right here is just levels above. So try it out. You won't be disappointed, and hopefully you will catch some more fish. So there you have it, guys, the 610 medium and the 7.2 medium heavy rods. Thanks guys for watching, and see you in the next one.